The July 7th, 2025 meeting of the Bay City Commission will come to order. The clerk will give the invocation, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're going to follow a moment of silence for those impacted by the flooding in Texas. Please rise. Thank you. Please be seated. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Coakley.
Here.
Bernie Obershaw.
Here.
Tenney.
Here.
DeWitt.
Here.
Rumberg.
Here.
Charlebois.
Here.
Morris.
Here.
Mr. Mayor.
Present. Okay, we have a quorum. And the first order of business is actually a swearing in of our new First Ward City Commissioner. All right, congratulations, Commissioner Cubitt. All right, next order of business, we have our first and second quarter reports from Hay Bay City. And we have Sarah Parker here representing the Bay Area Chamber of Commerce.
I remembered to turn it on this time. Well, good evening, Commission, and congratulations on our new Commissioner. We're happy to have you. So we're going to report on quarter one and quarter two of our Hay Bay City. I'm going to cover the workforce development side, and then I'll hand it over to Annabelle, and she will handle our marketing portion. Oops. A breakdown of our quarter one and quarter two funding. We have salaries and wages up here. Marketing at about almost $13,000. Community outreach is at $3,000 for a total of $67,000. And then our end of quarter two 2025 balance with the city is $118,693.95. These are a few of the website metrics from the workforce development side. So in quarters 1 and 2, we had 22 employer signups. We have a total currently of 214 employers that are signed up to post on Hay Bay City. That does not mean that they all have open opportunities, but it does mean that they're signed up and ready to post those open opportunities. We had 226 jobs posted with 42,143 job views. In quarters 1 and 2, we received 41 resumes, and that is through our Typeform platform and then submitted directly to me. The difference between the apply clicks and the applications, there's two options on our platform for employers. The first one is they can have the applicant apply directly through our Hay Bay City platform, or they can choose to have that applicant apply at the company website. So apply clicks are when they click apply now. We had 1,343 of those, and the applications are when the employer prompts them to go to the company website to apply. In quarter 1 and quarter 2, I had 53 face-to-face meetings with employers, educators, local workforce development agencies, and other partners. We had 17 total open opportunities sent to our job seekers personally by myself. We also have ongoing support for our job seekers. I am currently working with 5 job seekers on building their resume, anywhere from first-time resume to re-entering the workforce after 20 years. We have also, due to how excited people have gotten with the job seeker support, I've started sending out resume pack emails. So our Hay Bay City employers get a email from me. I had to increase it to bi-monthly because we had so many. So basically what we do with those is I do a table of key phrases and key skill sets and key industries that these applicants could possibly work for. And so far, we have gotten extremely positive responses from our employers saying that this is an awesome added benefit and added value for Hay Bay City. A few of the events, partnerships, and collaborations that we have going on. With Bay City Public Schools, we are on their Work-Based Learning Advisory Council. So that would be our Bay City Public Schools. We get to work with them to kind of figure out career paths for our students. Also with our colleges, we have really good relationship. I'll actually skip down to the SVSU Employer Partnership. We have an amazing relationship with SVSU and working together for bringing students to our area, because we all know that a community is a good reason to move somewhere, to stay put somewhere. We're also heavily involved with the Bay Aranac ISD counselor tour networks. So a good way to get in front of those students to explain the careers that are out there is to touch base with the counselors so that the counselors can go back and talk with the students about the awesome things that are out there and the opportunities that we have here in Bay County. As always, we have a great relationship with Great Lakes Bay Michigan Works and Bay Future. We're in the office with Bay Future, so constant collaboration going on there. And then in May, we got selected to present at the Connecting Entrepreneurial Communities Conference. And that was an awesome privilege to be able to get chosen to go and present at that. And we talked about bridging the skills gap. So innovative ways to figure out the skills that employers actually need and how we can get those into the hands of our job seekers. We're also heavily involved with the STEM and STEAM initiatives. We are part of the STEM Stakeholder Committee. We're also a part of a Child Care Coalition Committee, helping to put together a Child Care Summit for businesses, because we all know that child care is one of the barriers to employment. We actually will be on the Tri-Share Committee for that summit October 29th. And then as always, because of the barriers, we're also heavily involved in any of the housing conversations that get going on. There was a roundtable that I got the privilege to sit on with some state representatives and high-level contractor business owners to kind of discuss those barriers, but not just discuss them, start taking action steps to be able to help remedy that. All right, I'm gonna hand it off to Annabelle.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Annabelle Schweiger. I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager for the Bay Area Chamber of Commerce in Hay Bay City. For the first half of the year, our website received approximately 123,000 views and 40,000 users. The quarterly breakdown is displayed on the screen. To clarify the metrics, page views reflect the number of times our website has been loaded, whereas the users represent the number of individual or unique visitors that have come to our page. While overall traffic has dipped slightly, something we anticipated due to our Google ad spend, we continue to see strong engagement from the visitors who are coming to our site. One key indicator of this is the average sessions duration. Currently, Hay Bay City is averaging 2 minutes and 11 seconds per session, which, places us right on trend with industry averages. It is also important to note that some fluctuation in traffic is normal and expected from quarter to quarter, especially for community-focused platforms like ours. Job page views combined for quarter 1 and quarter 2 were approximately 87,000, with most of those views coming from Bay City, Ashburn, Virginia, and Detroit. The majority of our website traffic is coming from direct search, meaning users are typing our URL directly into their browser. This is a strong indicator of brand awareness and recognition. People know who we are and how to find us, which is fantastic. Following that, our next largest sources are paid search, driven by our remaining Google Ads, and organic search, which reflects users finding us through unpaid search engine results. Here you will see the social media analytics that I'll summarize on the next slide. Hay Bay City is active on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. In compiling analytics across all 3 platforms, we have a total of 1.28 million views, over 17,000 followers, 3,730 email subscribers to our newsletter, and almost 1,300 SMS subscribers, bringing our total audience to over 1 million individuals. Here is our content breakdown so far this year. It is separated into content we have shared and content that we have published ourselves. Some highlights were the Dow Apprenticeship Program, First Robotics, Frank's Great Outdoors, Gujan Brothers, and Sanctuary Yoga. In addition to our story-style content, we've introduced exciting new video features this year, giving us a fresh, dynamic way to engage with the community and showcase local stories from a new perspective. In Q3, you can expect to see stories about Bay City State Park, which will be coming this week, SBSU, Dow, and more. To stay up to date on any of these and other upcoming stories, please keep an eye out on our socials. As far as placemaking goes, for Q1, Hay Bay City partnered with the Bay County Library System for an event called Cozy Up at the Library with Hay Bay City. The intent of this collaborative event was to bring further attention and support to the library's ongoing winter reading program. Our event took place on February 12th from 10 to 11:30 a.m. We had a table inside the library, encouraging people to stop and see us, so we could not only tell them about Hay Bay City, but also encourage them to grab a coffee and donut before they sat down to read and log their hours for the program. We promoted this event prior to, sharing information about the program, how to sign up, and then why they should. For Q2, we worked with United Way of Bay County to promote their Day of Caring event, a day of volunteering and working as a community to clean up Bay City. We collaborated by assisting in the promotion of this event, encouraging participation, and published a story after the fact, sharing the success of the event, encouraging people to keep it in mind for next year.
So we've all seen this slide before. I'm a big believer in calls to action. So we're going to end our presentation today with a call to action for all of those in the audience, those watching at home, and our commission. We can't do this by ourselves, and as it says, it will take all of this. If you have an employer that needs job seekers, reach out to me. If you have a job seeker that needs help finding placement, reach out to me. When you see our posts on Facebook, share them. Follow us. Make sure that we're all working together to really help Bay County and Bay City be the amazing, beautiful city that we all know it can be. Thank you, guys, and we'll take questions.
All right, questions. Thank you so much. Do we have Commissioner DeWitt?
Yeah, wife stumbled across your table a couple weeks ago, and I had some questions about the merch that was being handed out. Were these purchased from a local business, or were these purchased from a mass printer?
They were purchased from local. The notebooks were ATS Printing, and the T-shirts were Sandlot Sports.
Okay, I was just checking that because I saw those. I'm like, I don't know how much that is. Or did they contribute at all to that as an in-kind, or is that just a regular purchase order?
It was part of our marketing budget.
Okay, I just figured I'd ask because I saw that and wanted to know what that was about. Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, Commissioner Morris.
Quick question. I saw that you said, with the analytics with the website, that it's down due to Google ad spend. What do you mean by that? How does that correlate?
So at the beginning of the year, we had intentionally, can you hear me now?
Sure, the green button's on.
Good? Okay. Okay. At the beginning of the year, we made the intentional decision to reevaluate our Google ad spend and have decreased that since, which will therefore cause a decrease in traffic, but we are still focusing on the organic traffic, which is our biggest user acquisition so far.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you so much for coming again. I always look forward to hearing those updates, and you are right. As a community, as a city, we do have an aging population, and we need to take efforts and action together to make sure that we reverse that trend any which way. So thank you for all your efforts in that. Thank you. Have a good night. Okay, the next order of business is the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Commissioner Tenney.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a second? Commissioner Runberg.
Second.
Do any members of the commission wish to add any items to the agenda? All right, seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the agenda?
Commissioner Coakley.
Yes.
Bernie Obershaw.
Yes.
Tenney.
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Rumberg,
Yes.
Charlebois,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Cubit.
Yes.
8 yes.
All right, tonight's agenda has been adopted. Next order of business is the consent agenda. Do any members of the commission wish to make a change to the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, the next order of business public input on the consent agenda. This is the opportunity for citizens to remove an item from the consent for consideration on the regular agenda. If anyone in the audience wishes to make a change, please come to the microphone, print your name on the registration sheet, state your name and address for the record, and the item you wish to have considered on the regular agenda. All right, seeing no one come forward, is there a motion on the consent agenda? All right, Commissioner DeWitt.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second? Commissioner Coakley.
Second.
Okay, will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the consent agenda?
Commissioner Bernie Overshaw,
Yes.
Tenney,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Rumberg,
Yes.
Charlebois,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Cubit,
Yes.
Coakley.
Yes.
8 yes.
All right, consent agenda items have been approved. Next order of business is remarks of the mayor and commission. Do commissioners have remarks this evening? Commissioner Tenney.
Thank you to the chair. Just wanted to quickly say I hope that everybody had a great 4th of July and give a thank you to all the city staff involved and all the volunteers involved in the firework display. Both myself and the mayor had an opportunity to tour the Good Samaritan Rescue Mission this morning, hear about all the awesome things that they're doing, including the Impact Program. We got to see the future site of the drop-in center. We're still in the paperwork phases, as they call it, with getting that going, but they are slated to open it in October or November, which is congruent with what we were told when we passed that funding. So pretty cool to see our tax dollars at work, helping some vulnerable folks in our community. Also, August the 2nd, we're having a 4th Ward block party. It's something that I've organized as a citizen to give back to not only my neighborhood, but the entire city. Everybody's welcome. It's gonna be at Rexler Jablonski Park at 1 o'clock. There's going to be free backpacks for students, free health supplies for adults, free food, face painting. So come throw a hot time with your neighbors. I hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? No. I just want to echo Commissioner Tenney's sentiments about the fireworks. Earl and Michelle Bovia always put in countless hours along with all the board and all the volunteers. It's great to see the community come together. Next year's a pretty big event, so they're always looking for volunteers. I know they were putting out information for volunteers this year, so if you want to get involved, I'm sure they will take the hands of help. So again, another fabulous year of shows. And as Commissioner Tenney mentioned, it was nice to see the rescue mission this morning, kind of hear some of the plans and see current operations. It's a real clean operation they do there. I was impressed with how things were. So also want to congratulate our new First Ward Commissioner, Laura Kubit. Welcome to the team. Remind people we have a 5th Ward opening, which we're accepting applications for another few weeks here. So if you know folks that live in the 5th Ward that is interested in serving your community, it was nice to see the number of applicants submit for the 1st Ward position. So it's always great to have people involved. I want to mention we have a business in Bay City that was recognized in a new book released, 100 Things to Do in Michigan Before You Die. Number 3 listed in the book is actually Meats and More on Winona. And so it apparently it's been super busy since they've had this published, but it's pretty cool. If you want to check it out, feel free. And they have copies of the book. They're only $19.99. So 100 things to do in Michigan before you die. So it's pretty cool. We have a business located, and these are things all around the state of Michigan. And then lastly, a couple events coming up. Cool City Car Cruise. I've been informed I get to give out a big mayor's trophy. So if you have a classic car, or even if you don't, I've seen a multitude of vehicles. So that'll be, it'll end up on Midland Street. It's a whole weekend of events. I'm sure that's online. And then the following week is the Rib Fest. So lots of cool things coming up in Bay City. So does the manager have anything?
I do have a couple things. I too want to thank Earl and Michelle Bovia for the fireworks festival, for all their hours that they put in, and also to our employees. They spent most of their weekend here, so I do appreciate all of that. We do have a community survey out right now. It is on our website and on Facebook. If you need a paper copy, we do have those available in the city manager's office. So we are encouraging people to fill that out about your community. And also, I do want to thank United Way for partnering with the City of Bay City for a fraud detection meeting that we had for senior citizens last week. It was probably the hottest day ever when we were outside there was a food giveaway. So many of our employees were there separating food for hours and giving it out to about 200 residents. So I do want to thank all those employees too for their hard work that they did on that event.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great event. And next item of business calls for public input. Under the rules of the City Commission, each speaker will be allowed 5 minutes to speak. Commissioner Coakley will serve as the timekeeper. This is the opportunity for citizens to address the commission regarding any agenda item or any other matter. If anyone wishes to address the commission, please come forward, print your name on the registration sheet, and state your name and address for the record. Again, we ask that speakers be respectful when addressing the mayor and commission. Public input is a one-way communication, and the mayor and commissioners cannot answer the questions at this time. Feel free to meet with them after the meeting if you need further information.
Hi, I'm Denise. Can you hear me? Hi, I'm Denise Davidson on Marsac Street. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Just a couple of things as I was going through the agenda earlier. The first one is the resolution for equitable and safe rental housing. As I was reading through this, it appeared to me for the action items at the bottom of the resolution that I'm thinking a lot of this is already being done by the city staff that is responsible for this area. So I still am not really clear as to why, and it looks like some of this might be a little bit of the government overreach on some of this, so I just wanted to at least speak on that, the resolution. The next resolution I wanted to talk about is the one for the Pollinator Positivity Program. As reading through this, I was curious as to who would be administering the program, but did find out it would be code enforcement, and thought that the city staff, since they are taking a lot on with the community complaints and everything else, and being short-staffed, that it would be too much pressure on them to do this type of a program. I did look up with regards to pollinating. Mary Phillips, the head of Native Plant Habitat Strategy and Certification at the National Wildlife Federation, she was mentioned in an article, she might have wrote the article, talking about unless your lawn is mainly comprised of native wildflowers over traditional turf grass, allowing it to grow untamed does little to help feed the bees and the butterflies. There are more drawbacks than benefits, including potential to promote the establishment of invasive species in the lawn. And a thought was, I believe we have a garden club that's in the city, so maybe contacting them and having things done that way versus lawns, because we all know that there's a lot of tall grass, tall things that, and I know code enforcement is always getting calls on this, that people are not cutting their lawn. So thought that this might be a good alternative to talk to the garden club versus giving that 2-week reprieve. I thought there might be a few better things to deal with on the city. We have a lot of issues with vacant buildings, streets, all that type of stuff. And dealing with the tall grass. The other thing I wanted to mention on this was if people then get the 2-week reprieve and then all of a sudden cut their grass and it's really tall, having the clumps in their grass, also the gutters where the tall grass is, it clogs up the sewers. So it just kind of leads to other issues down the line. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was a resolution to talk about changing the rules of the commission. You have A through N, where you have the normal order of business, and there's a resolution to change public input from its current spot right now to after remarks of mayor and commission and manager report. I guess I'm not really clear why the reasoning is. I would think if it's worked really well all these years, just to keep it there. So I would recommend just keeping it where it is. I think that's all I had. Thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Jeff Reed, 409 Fillmore. I'm here to speak about the Bay City Bridge Partners. I'm glad to see TV5's here tonight. Maybe they can get this message out to the entire community. That's awesome. I'd like to start out with, I want to talk a little, well, first of all, the clapping rule. If I'm up here speaking and people are pleased with what I have to say, I'm suspending the clapping rule during my time. One of the questions I have, and that we all have in the city of Bay City, is what did we get for our $30,000 that we spent on those attorneys for the Bay City Bridge Partners? It's still all top secret. The citizens are sick of it. We want an answer. Talk about our tax dollars at work. Tax dollars at work, that's exactly what we want to know. What are we getting for our $30,000 that we just spent on these attorneys? Did they break the contract? It's all top secret. No one can give me a straight answer. Nobody. Because you all probably signed that confidentiality agreement where everything's top secret. We, the people, have the right to know what's going on with this bridge partner issue. And as far as the boycott against the bridge partners, that's going extremely well. You look at the people that are crossing them bridges, those are the people that have city privilege, like myself. We don't have to pay until 2028. We're crossing those bridges to help lighten the traffic on Vets Bridge for the citizens that do have to pay to cross those bridges. We're all working together, and we're going to continue to do that. And we will bankrupt the Bay City Bridge Partners. The quicker we kick them out of town, the better off this city's going to be. One thing you don't want to do while you're alive in Michigan is cross those toll bridges and give Bay City Bridge Partners your money. They're not in bed with the state of Michigan. They can't suspend your driver's license or withhold your tabs for not paying their toll. That's not law. I've said it before, and it still stands. So the warning here is real simple. Just don't do business with Bay City Bridge Partners. Because we, the people, we are going to bankrupt the Bay City Bridge Partners. And when we do that, hopefully this city can take control of these bridges and we can get with the federal government and the state and get some funding and get these bridges up and running good so everybody can use them freely and pass through our communities. So I really want an answer on this $30,000. I've been asking this question for a while. Is the meter still ticking? Or did the meter stop? Nobody can say a word, and I think it's pretty sad. We talk about transparency. I'm not seeing any of this with the Bay City Bridge Partners. I thought about throwing my hat in the race for First Ward Commissioner, but I couldn't do it because I'm not going to give up my freedom of speech right and have to keep my mouth shut against things that I feel are flat out wrong regarding these Bay City Bridge Partners. Don't give your money to the Bay City Bridge Partners. You get a bill from them people, don't pay it. Anybody from out of town that is seeing this or hearing about it, they got no authority with the state of Michigan. They can't do a damn thing to you. Just throw that in the trash. And if everybody did that, we'd have to build a new courthouse. So just special for the Bay City Bridge Partners. And that ain't going to work out. So if you did get a bill because you accidentally crossed across one of those bridges when you came here to visit us for the 4th of July, just don't pay it. Don't let them scare you with their scare tactics, the nasty letters they send out to people. Just don't be afraid. Don't let them intimidate you. They certainly don't intimidate me. They've never gotten a penny from me, and they never will. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward for public input? Okay. Next order of business calls for a public hearing. This is the opportunity for citizens to address the commission regarding public hearing. There's 3 of them. There's 4 of them, I'm sorry. So the first one is application of Straits Wood Treating, Inc. for industrial facilities tax exempt certificate located at 4804 East Wilder Road in the amount of $300,000. Second is the application from Hawthorne Realty LLC amending the obsolete property rehabilitation district located at 201 South Lynn Street. The third is the application from Yusuf Harold, Hawthorne Realty LLC for a 12-year obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate located at 201 South Lynn Street. And number 4 is a Code of Ordinances, Chapter 85, signs be repealed and replaced in its entirety. So is there a motion on all 4? Commissioner Tenney?
Move to allow for public hearings 1 through 4.
Thank you. Is there a second? Commissioner DeWitt?
Second.
Okay. So the first one, if anyone wishes to address the commission regarding public hearing item number 1, please come forward, sign the registration sheet, and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one come forward, public hearing number 2. Anybody like to come forward for public hearing number 2? All right. How about public hearing item number 3? Anybody like to come forward for public hearing item number 3? Okay, and lastly, public hearing item number 4. Anybody like to come forward? Okay. So the next order of business is special orders. Will the clerk read the next item on the agenda?
Special Order 1, Commission as a whole resolution regarding an application from Straits Wood Treating, Inc. for an industrial facilities tax exemption certificate located at 4804 East Wilder Road in the amount of $300,000. Recommendation approve.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Renberg?
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner Morris?
Second.
Discussion? Commissioner DeWitt?
Yes, do we know if there is a representative from Straits Wood Treating in the audience? Move to suspend the rules to allow the representative to come and answer questions from the commission.
Yes, is there support? Commissioner Coakley?
Support.
Is there any objection? Okay, seeing no objection, the rules have been suspended. Please come forward.
Hi, is the green light on?
Sure, the green light's on and talk directly into the mic.
Can you hear me now? The green light is on. Can you hear me? Okay.
Okay, my question was this, is I had someone, actually someone else on the commission here reach out to me to look over it again. And I just want to confirm that you guys are just building a new additional warehouse?
Yes, correct.
For it, okay. The 17 jobs, are those all the temporary construction jobs, or are there any new permanent jobs being added to your facility?
The hope is that a lot of those will be permanent once we get this facility up and we are able to increase our inventory.
Okay, and then would you guys be looking to do the, to be extending this, or would you be doing this the one time? Because I noticed that previously your organization did one 25 years ago, but would this be something that would hopefully, you guys would hopefully snowball into others, or are you looking at this as a one time and just see what happens from there?
I mean, hopefully we'll do it again, but right now it's just a one time, but that doesn't mean in the future that we wouldn't do something like this again.
Okay, those are the questions I had if others want to ask.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else? All right, we need a motion to go back into regular order. Commissioner DeWitt,
Motion to return to the regular order of business.
is there any objection? Nope. Is there a second? Commissioner Runberg,
Second.
any objection? Seeing none, we're back in the regular order.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? All right, roll call vote.
Commissioner Tenney,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Rumberg,
Yes.
Charlerbois,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Cubit,
Yes.
Coakley,
Yes.
Bernie Obershaw.
Yes.
8 yes.
All right, special order's been adopted. Will the clerk read the next item, please?
Special Order 2, Commission as a whole resolution regarding application from Hawthorne Realty LLC, amending the obsolete property rehabilitation district located at 201 South Lynn Street. Recommendation approve.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Morris,
Move to approve.
is there a second? Commissioner Coakley,
Second.
discussion? Commissioner Runberg.
Yeah, I'd just like to say the Arlington Hotel, I forget how long that's been closed now, but it is nice to see somebody doing something with this. It was a staple of the Midland Street Business District once upon a time, and it'd be nice to see it not being all dilapidated. So appreciate someone stepping forward on this one.
All right, any other discussion? Commissioner Coakley?
Yeah, I'd like to echo the support on that. It's good to see a historic building like that getting renovated and back in play in the city. I think it's good. I think we need to do more of that.
Perfect. Commissioner DeWitt.
So I'm not against this. My thing is are amending a previous one to allow for a adjustment to the new one in number 3. So we're kind of splitting the waters here with my question, but through the mayor to the city manager, is there a limit to how many times these can be altered before they have to come through and start the process over again?
I'm going to have Sarah come up and discuss that. I think once you approve that application though too, because the application actually will have this information in it, they would have to probably refile.
So just to, can you hear me? So just to clarify, what we're amending is just the district. So he bought an additional piece of property to have additional parking. So we're just amending the district. He did, so you are correct, we did do a previous Oprah, but we revoked it because of the timeline. So he needed a little bit more time, and we didn't want him to lose years on his abatement. So we did revoke it. I mean, I would say that, we don't want to continue to do that, but he made sure we are completely in alignment. We have several meetings with him. He's ready to go. So I don't think statutorily that there's a limit, but we wouldn't continue to revoke and redo and revoke and redo. So, but does that answer your questions?
Yeah, that was most of my concern, is that we seem to be stutter stepping on this one. I don't want to have this become standard if things keep happening.
All right, any other questions? Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner DeWitt,
Yes.
Rumberg,
Yes.
Charlerbois,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Cubit,
Yes.
Coakley,
Yes.
Bernie Obershaw,
Yes.
Tenney,
Yes.
8 yes.
All right, the special order has been adopted. Will the clerk please read the next item on the agenda?
Special Order 3, Commission as a whole resolution regarding application from Yusef Harold Hawthorne Realty Group, LLC, for a 12-year obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate located at 201 South Lynn Street. Recommendation approve.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Tenney.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner DeWitt.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Rumberg.
Yes.
Charlebois.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
Cubit.
Yes.
Coakley.
Yes.
Bernie Obershaw.
Yes.
Tenney.
Yes.
And DeWitt.
Yes.
8 yes.
All right, the special order has been approved. Will the clerk please read the next item?
Special Order 4, City Manager recommending Code of Ordinances, Chapter 85, signs be repealed and replaced in its entirety. Recommendation approve.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Tenney.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner DeWitt.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner DeWitt.
I do want to say, unfortunately, it's a shame this wasn't intact over the weekend because I saw a couple of moving video boards that were doing advertising at a very rapid rate of change, like digital billboards on trucks that were flipping every 2 or 3 seconds. It was quite obnoxious to watch those ones. So I'm glad this is done, but I wish it could have been done a little bit sooner.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Charlebois.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
Cubit.
Yes.
Coakley.
Yes.
Bernie Obershaw.
Yes.
Tenney.
Yes.
DeWitt.
Yes.
Rumberg.
Yes.
8 yes.
Special order has been approved. Will the clerk, that moves us into our regular order of business, will the clerk read the next item?
Regular Agenda 1, Commissioner Bernie Obershaw's resolution regarding equitable and safe rental housing.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Runberg.
Move to approve.
Is there support? Commissioner Cubit?
I actually wanted to move to table, actually. So I know I'm brand new to the commission and I don't want to throw a wrench into things. And I've started conversations with Commissioner Bernie Obershaw. And I understand she might not support this motion, but I want to be very judicious about what we're requesting staff to do. And I think that I do have some concerns about the language as written, although I 100% support that the city can and should do more to hold landlords accountable for their legal duty to provide habitable housing and to do something regarding affordability as well. So I 100% support that part of the motion, but I guess I would just like to expand and maybe fine tune it a little bit. And I'd like the opportunity to do that, but I recognize that I'm new and I understand if I'm overruled on that request. So I'm making a motion to table the resolution for that opportunity.
Okay, so we need a second. Is there a second? Commissioner Bernie Obershaw, are you going to second your? Okay, so I need a second for discussion. So Commissioner Coakley?
Second.
Okay, so now we're in discussion. Commissioner Bernie Obershaw.
Okay, I wanted to first. I wanted her to abstain from it because she and I had a conversation, and when she read it, she asked me. I think she should abstain. When she read it, she reached out to me and she told me that she was, in fact, a landlord, and that she questioned me and said that she didn't think that it was fair that I was asking for the tenants to be notified, give them more time, more than 30 days to raise their rent. So I said to her, why would you feel that raising rent 30 days, not telling the people that you're going to raise their rent, just raise their rent? And as I told her, it's okay to disagree, to agree to disagree. And I felt that since she said that to me, as being a landlord, I feel that she needs to abstain since she has just gotten onto Chamber's floor. So I looked it up in the charter, and it's called Standard of Conduct, Article 7, Section 7.3H. Any officer or employee, any other conflict between personal interest and public interest as defined by the state law of the charter, code inspected. That means if she has any, it's a conflict of interest. She's a landlord. She knew that. She was just they just inspected her property right in between me putting this resolution in. She knew that. She knew when she read that she was going to not be able to raise that rent within 30 days. She was very upset about that. She should not be able to vote on this resolution. So I'm asking that she abstain from it. I've even asked her, do you want me to change anything? Do you want me to amend anything? She was very upset when I said she was very worried about the changes because she is a landlord. So I just wanted to bring that to the table because it's in our standard of conduct, Article 7, Section 7.3. You know, she's coming at this as a landlord.
Commissioner Bernie, I don't think you can ask that she abstain. You can't demand that she abstain. I'm just saying you can ask that and she can make that choice if she chooses to abstain from the voting. All right, Commissioner Cubit?
Sure. My intent of tabling the resolution was to be efficient. I mean, I could propose some friendly amendments. In fact, it would be to make the request to the commissioner broader, but frankly, I think that would be sort of time-consuming, so it just seemed more efficient to table it to try and have further discussion. But as to abstaining, I don't intend to abstain. I don't feel I have a conflict of interest because I very much am aligned with the goal of holding landlords more accountable. I very much want that to be the case. And I've dedicated my career to that.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Runberg.
Yeah, so I'm just reading the resolution again, and it looks like, as far as I can tell, based on the resolution, all this is really calling for is through the city manager to have the city staff study and evaluate the findings to be presented to the city for potential implementation via amendments to the city code. So this resolution really just has the city staff reviewing what our scope is, what we're capable of accomplishing, unless I'm reading this incorrectly here.
What I'd like is the city manager just opine on that, if she would.
I think you need to be more specific and just use city manager. You got to stay away from using city staff because obviously you can't give direction to them. And we all understand, right, when it goes to the city manager that it's going to go down to the departments and the directors, but you can't put city staff in your resolutions. There's a couple other things, and I know we talked about this at the last meeting too, about some of this stuff we're just not able to do. And if you want us to report that back, if that's what your goal is on this resolution, that, you know, some things just aren't legal, if that's what you want us to do in the report back, that's fine. We just need to make sure we're clear. There's also a part in there that says to establish, I'm sorry, I put my glasses on, to amend the fine schedule for the violations. We're going to need some type of direction on what you're looking for because we already have one already specified that covers that, and it's already a high fine. So I guess we need some direction because we really don't know what you're looking for as far as fines in the amounts that you want charged.
That's fine. That's all I have on that one.
Wait, hold on one moment. There's a few other speakers and I can get back. Commissioner Coakley had some comments and then.
I think it was answered. I just wanted to know if this was legal to do and if parts of it weren't and it passes, what the actions would be with that. I didn't know if the attorneys looked at it or not.
Well, and I think that would be our report back to you, right? I mean, if that's what you're looking for with these bullet points, we can report back with the help of the city attorney to say, you know, what is legal and what we can do and can't do.
Thank you.
So,
okay, Commissioner Bernie Overshaw, go ahead.
So if we pass this through, then that means you have to check into what we're asking you to check into and come back and report to us, and then we can go from there. So I'm not, we're asking you to check into it to see what our avenues are and come back and let us know. This is what we're asking you, to let us know where we stand, what we need to do to make some of these things happen. So that is what we're asking. We're not setting it in stone. Is this correct?
Yep,
Is that what you would have to
that's what the
do?
language says, it's
Okay.
just a request to bring
All
back
right.
information.
That's what I'm asking. I'm not directing. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're not asking to change the ordinance at this point. Correct. Okay, Commissioner Cubit.
Sorry, I'll try and wrap it up. And I totally understand that. I was just trying to look for an opportunity to provide more clarity. So for example, there are some phrases in here that if I were the person receiving this assignment, I would have questions about. And so I wanted to try and fine tune that a little bit. So for example, double the fines. Are we talking about all code violations? Because that could include vulnerable seniors that don't have the finances to resolve the issue. Or are we only talking about landlords in a rental context? I think the intent is rental context, but I think we should be clear. That's all. I'll stop talking now. I've made a motion to table. We'll follow the proper procedure. I was just trying to be efficient about our staff time and resources.
Oh, okay. So it would be a motion to refer back to commission.
Not to the commissioner.
Commissioner, to Bernie Obershaw. So you made that motion, is that correct? That you would like this referred back to the commissioner for a rewrite?
Thank you for the clarification. Yes, a motion to refer back to the commissioner for rewrite. I would very much like to be part of that, if that means having a meeting with staff to clarify some of the language or doing something further. I'd very much want to promptly and efficiently have that opportunity.
Okay, so is there support for that? Or second, I'm sorry. Commissioner Runberg?
Yeah, I'm hoping that this is the first of everything, so I'd take a second on that till we do it right the first time.
Okay, yeah.
Get the second.
Makes it easy. So are there objections then to refer this back to Commissioner Obershaw to rewrite or to reevaluate? Commissioner Bernie, you object? Okay, so in that case, we need to do a roll call vote on the objection. Well,
So it's on Commissioner Cubit's motion. So you're voting on a yes means send it back to Commissioner Bernie Obershaw, a no means you do not want to send it back to Commissioner Bernie Obershaw. Okay, so Commissioner Cubit.
Yes.
Coakley.
Yes.
Bernie Obershaw. This is to send it back to you for changes.
To send it back to me?
Yes.
For changes?
Yes. So yes or no? You just objected to doing that.
So I want to do it now, to vote for it now. So
then
no.
you would vote no.
No.
Tenny,
Yes.
do it.
Yes.
Rumberg,
Yes.
Charlebois,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 no.
okay, so this is being referred back to Commissioner Bernie Obershaw for review and rewrite. Okay, will the clerk please read the next item on the agenda?
Okay, regular agenda number 2, Commissioner Coakley's resolution to reaffirm residency requirements for elected officials.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Morris.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner Tenney?
Second.
Discussion? Commissioner Runberg?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify some things on here. So to either yourself or the city manager, that's already a standing rule both in state law as well as our charter in the city, correct?
Yeah, there's a couple different areas in the city charter that talks about elected and appointed, but there is the Home Rule City Act that it does fall under as well from 1909.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I lost some sleep over this one myself looking at it.
And just so you know, too, there was a correction in that section. Thank you to another commissioner that did call that out, that it was the wrong section number, but there is the correct section number online now.
Thank you for that. So yeah, seeing that it's already policy and it's already law, I feel like this might be a little bit symbolic, having this put out there. It seems to me that there's a certain climate right now that is targeting of individuals rather than we're doing this for the right reason. And if this is just being redundant because it's already settled case law and settled law on the books for Michigan code, I don't see why we're doing this. It seems like it's just a waste of our time as far as being performative and drawing toward things that don't actually benefit the city in any way. If there is a process already established, if somebody is allegedly living or outside of their ward, then I think we should be following that process.
Yep.
So the charter does not list a process, really, and how to take care of that. If you are under the assumption or you do have the facts that somebody doesn't live here, it's kind of vague.
There is a process, though, 'cause it's a state law.
Right.
So it seems like that would be a channel that would be available, and I'm not sure what this accomplishes because all it's really doing is restating what is already on the books. It's not actually changing anything.
Any other? Commissioner Coakley.
The reason I did this is it gives an ability by checking utility bills and so forth to check on that. When we had the applicants for the first ward, there were a number of them that were a resident of the first ward for 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, and so forth. And just when we have somebody sitting in the seat, just being able to make sure they're still there. I mean, if you've been in a place for 6 months, it may be an apartment, you may be moving right away and so forth. And just to reaffirm that you're getting representation. This isn't changing anything, it's just giving the city and the council an ability just to check on a few things.
All right, Commissioner Bernie Obershaw.
First off, I feel that the canvassers, the county, the city, they take care of those things. I feel that your constitutional rights are being evaded. Who is the city to ask for someone to give them your personal data? Whose idea was this? Somebody sitting up here rolling their eyes about, this is ridiculous. I want to know who wanted that. Who wants to know somebody's bill? I read it. Your electric bill, you want to pay mine? Because I sure need somebody to pay it. You want my gas bill? Because I sure need somebody to start paying my bills. Now, ridiculous. When you run for the mayor, a seat, the canvassers, the county, the clerk, that is her job. She likes her job. They do that for you. It is a law. Who said to write this cockamamie stuff? That's ridiculous. Now, if you want to start paying my bills, I'll bring them to you. City manager or mayor, one of you did it. So I'll bring my bills to you from now on. I just want you to know that. I live at 234 North Jackson. You want me, come and get me. I can go to Paris. I can sleep wherever I want to sleep because I know it's about me. I can lay my head wherever I want to. If I want to sleep over there in 234 North Jackson, I can. If I want to sleep in Birch Run, I can. If I want to go up north, I can. If I want to sleep wherever the hell I want to for 2 or 3 days.
Point of order, can we get back to the business of the resolution?
I'm letting you know it's all about me. So ask me. Don't punish
Point of order.
everybody else.
Okay. Are you all set,
Commissioner Bernie,
Commissioner?
please.
Yep, you made your major point
That
clear.
part.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Cubit.
Yes, so I do see that in our charter, section 3.3.3 does say in the case of death, resignation, non-residency, it talks about how to fill the vacancy. So it's very clear that you have to be a resident as defined as, you know, a registered elector under election code. And there's lots of different standards of residency, you know, whether you're talking about Michigan income tax, principal residence exemption, there's lots of different standards. And I agree that there's vagueness in our protocols for if somebody had some kind of concern, how they do it. You know, as Commissioner Bernie Obershaw just said, you know, there is a recall process and anybody could initiate that. That seems like quite a lot of effort too. If there is a current concern, oh, and I should say too that this current resolution does seem to not change any current law or change any access to information that's already available. It's basically just asking the city manager to put this piece of paper in the new, in the orientation booklet. It doesn't say by voting for this, I'm affirming that I'm a resident under this standard or that standard. I'm happy to do that. I could understand how constituents would have concerns if their commissioner spent a lot of time outside of the ward. I could understand that concern, and I think that it's something worth talking about. I guess, Commissioner Bernie Obershoff, if you want the opportunity to just, assert that, I suppose we could amend the rules and we could all declare, where we live, but I don't know how useful that really is. Same with it. But I guess I would invite, if somebody wants to address legitimate concerns of perhaps their constituents, to invite them to do so.
All set, Commissioner? All right, Commissioner Coakley.
Basically, if we're all doing what we're supposed to do, there's no issues here. And it's just, like I said, it's not targeting any individual. I don't know why someone would think that, but it's just to make sure that the community is represented as it states in the charter and by state law, by somebody who resides in the ward. And it's, just the other day, I was out walking and saw concerns with the sidewalk, send an email to the city manager and got it taken care of. There's benefits to making sure that we're all in our ward. And that's all this is. If we're all doing what we're supposed to, there's no issues here.
All right, I have Commissioner Tenney and then Commissioner DeWitt.
Thank you to the chair. I feel as if the people to whom the power belongs deserve to be represented by people who live by them in their ward. Full stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner DeWitt.
I just wish we had something that we, like we currently have written in this mostly reaffirmation, because when I was on the Charter Commission, when we went through this section, this was you don't want to change too much because you're going to run into case law with everything. So making this doesn't seem to be, from what I remember from 8 years ago, an issue with that. But I wish we had something like that for higher levels of office where people are concerned with carpetbagging, like we had in the last election with a much higher office than what's here. And with that, I would like to call the question.
Okay, so with that, we're calling the question. Is there objection to call the question? So Commissioner Obershoff, I'm guessing you're
No, I have one last thing to say.
You have to object, and then we have to vote on whether or not we're going to allow that.
I have one last thing to say. Why can't we do that with city manager? Why
Okay.
can't we hire people?
Okay.
Point of order.
in our city?
Yep, you're out of order, so. Okay, we're going to roll call vote.
So this is on the motion to approve the resolution. Commissioner Coakley.
Yes.
Bernie Obershaw.
Yes.
Tenney.
Yes.
DeWitt.
Yes.
Rumberg.
Yes.
Charlerbois.
No.
Morris.
Yes.
Cubit.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 no.
The motion passes. Okay, next order of business, please.
Regular agenda number 3. Are you good? I just want to be able to read the resolution with people be able to hear me. Commissioner DeWitt's resolution changing the Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025 City Commission meeting to Monday, September 8th, 2025.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Coakley.
Motion to support.
Is there a second? Commissioner DeWitt.
Second.
Motion to approve, not support.
Approve.
Okay, thank you. And you're still second. Okay.
Correct.
I think Commissioner DeWitt.
I'll make the statement because it came under my name. Since almost all of us here were not here when this calendar was originally set up, I had some conversations with some others who also expressed some possible concerns about that weekend, and then I cleared it with the city manager before we went through so that she can get that cleared up in time for their end of it. So we will be doing second and third Monday in September instead of first Tuesday and then third Monday. So just clarification on that for everyone else here.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Bernie Obershaw.
Yes.
Tenney.
Yes.
DeWitt.
Yes.
Rumberg.
Yes.
Charlerbois.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
Cubit.
Yes.
Coakley.
Yes.
8 yes.
The motion's been approved. Would the clerk please read the next item of business?
Is regular agenda number 4, Commissioner DeWitt's resolution regarding a pollinator positivity program.
Is there a motion? Commissioner DeWitt.
Move to approve.
Is there support or second? Commissioner Runberg.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner DeWitt.
All right, so I want to talk to a few things about this. One of the speakers mentioned that this might be a huge burden on code, and I'm hoping it's not. And the way that I did it the first time, I got told that it's not the right way to do it. So I'm doing it the opposite way and going from the back end to go move forward on something that I have had many people ask me about in this city, and I'm being told that that's not the right way to do it either. So we need to try to, if we have ideas that are supported by the majority in this chamber and many people in the community, work on it. In any way we can, and we need to actually get things done. We've turned a lot of things down because it's just the way we've always done it, and we need to stop doing that as a city. For the suggestions that came up, a lot of people unfortunately don't have the time to invest cash and their own personal time away from work to do a lot of the extra changes, but I will say that a majority of the yards that I have been in the city are not full turf. They are mostly clover because they are not kept up artificially by a lot of pesticides and insecticides. And clover is excessively good for the local entomological population. And while that doesn't necessarily grow, things that grow with it do get above the level. So that's why ideally I was hoping to do a one line, change it, and we'd be done, and we could go the small government route of just having it done. But having to go this way so that people can be appeased is the other option. And hopefully this is as minimal as possible, giving 3 months to get something back to us so that we can actually see the results and make sure that it's all set so that we're all ready to go for next spring. Thank you.
Good. Commissioner Morris.
Through the chair to the city manager, do you foresee this being a large burden for code enforcement?
I do, and to be honest, we talked about it at the last meeting. I just know that the number of complaints that our department gets about long grass, and even if it's 2 weeks, it's going to increase code enforcement. Sue is here tonight, so she's the one that takes probably 100% of those calls. I mean, you could ask her probably how large her load is, especially in the spring. I think it would be good to hear from her since she's the enforcement portion.
Can we have Sue come up? Do I have to suspend the rules for that to happen? Can she just come up and talk?
It's city staff.
Yes, city staff is fine.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. There we go. Give you an example. As we were sitting here in this meeting, I received 7 grass complaints on the C-Click Fix. It's not odd for me or my staff to get probably 20 to 25 grass complaints a week. This time of the year, from when we start grass, we usually have to start, because we are allowed to start cutting it May 1st. We have to start sending letters at the end of April. It probably takes up 70 to 75% of our time in the spring, in the summer. The last couple of summers, including this one, normally in July and August, it'll get dry and we don't have to cut so much. That hasn't happened the last couple of years. We're spending roughly $80,000 a year to cut grass because it's not being cut. So yes, this will definitely be a burden on my staff.
Okay, any other questions, Commissioner Morris?
Sure. Can you think of any other, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, is this something that we could possibly work on in the near future about something similar to this that may not be as much of a burden, or do you think that something like this is just not feasible, period, no matter how we look at it or what we do?
I think if you look at what we already have for pollinator areas, we have the middle grounds, which is 8 acres, almost a pollinator area. We have 4 other pollinator areas. I think we could do some great educational programs if people truly want to create good pollinator areas on their property. because what you're looking at is specific things, specific flowers, specific types of plants. A lot of the data that I've read is, for instance, if you let people grow their grass for 2 more weeks, and yes, bees do go into the grass, they like to hibernate in the grass and then come back out. It's not for pollination, but then all of a sudden you cut that grass, and that ecosystem is now gone. It upsets that. So I think there's other ways that we could possibly do it, maybe with some educational programs if people really want to add some different things to their property, along with the pollinator areas that we already have.
All right, that's all I have. Thank
All right, Commissioner Runberg and then Shalwa.
So thank you for coming up to the podium. The way I'm reading this resolution, it would really be this is an opt-in program, so it doesn't seem like it should be too difficult to come up with a way to, when a resident complains about their neighbor's lawns, just realize, have it flagged or identified in some way that this is participating in the program. And none of us here, I can't speak for everyone, but I don't assume any of us are ecologists or scientists for this. So we've all done our own little bit of research on it. And for what I've been able to ascertain is these pollinator areas, while they're not harmful by any means, they're not adequate or effective in covering large swaths of areas. It just focuses in one area and it doesn't really translate very well through the broader community. I think if we just had a system that just flagged it so we knew if they were participating in it, that would be an easy one for that, at least that aspect. I'm not speaking to the other burdens this might create, but it just seems to me like there is a way to accomplish this, and I have also had residents asking for this, and I don't think people are going to go through all this just because they want to be lazy for 2 weeks, so they go through the process of trying to opt into something like this. But yeah, that's all I really had on it, was that it seems like this shouldn't be a very difficult fix to put in place to make it not be so burdensome. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Shalwa.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, on Winona Street, a couple blocks off of Midland Street, there's a flower garden. The whole lawn is a flower garden. And it's kind of obvious that it's a flower garden. It's not overgrown grass. So I don't know. I know what Commissioner DeWitt's trying to do, and I don't know how to get there exactly. But as I said, it's obvious that a flower garden is not overgrown grass. You can just tell. I mean, I'm no expert, and I was going to mention what you mentioned. There were down on the middle grounds. There was a huge soccer fields down there. It's all been turned back to wildflowers, and I was all happy about that because there's no point in mowing all that grass. I think there's a few strips on either side of the road if you want to run your dog or whatever, and that's a huge area for pollinators. So. Again, I don't know how we're going to get there, but it's a trend going on. People are they don't want to cut the grass all the time, but it's not the same thing as overgrown grass when you have a flower garden. It's obvious. And I don't know how we're going to get there. I'm not sure, but that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Cubitt.
Yes, so help me understand the current way that the complaints come in. Are there multiple ways? There's phone calls, and there's also, is it an app?
Yes. First of all, we have our regular phone calls, so we get several of those a day. We have what we call a regular email, which is our code enforcement email, so they can come in that way. Then we have our SeeClickFix app, which you can do that on your phone, where you can make a complaint about long grass, streets not being done, anything within that purview. So there's at least 3 ways that you can do it.
In that app, would there be a way to designate that a property, like if we did a program like this to like put it in the app, like, oh, this, to put people on notice if they were trying to enter it in the app, that they already know by in the app that this is a registered property?
Not with the SeeClickFix. The way it's set up now, it's just for basically to record complaints or concerns. What we call our BSNA software, which is where we would have to log in anybody that would participate, is not connected to that and could not be connected to that. They're 2 totally separate systems. So we would have to do everything by hand.
And there's a lot that, of course, I don't know, but, you know, trying to be promoting pollination seems like a good thing. I don't know, is there a difference in code enforcement from saying like a front yard versus a backyard?
A code enforcement is set up that it's basically 150 feet from the front to the rear. So what that does is, let's say you have a longer property or what we call alley lot, we wouldn't make you cut it all the way back. But to look at somebody's grass in the front or somebody's grass in the rear, it's the same if it's within that 150 feet. So no, we would be looking at the same thing. Flower beds, things like that, obviously are not included in the grass program. When we look at grass, we're looking at the main grass. We're looking at the front yard, the side yards, the rear yards. We're not looking at the flower beds.
If someone chose to cut the very front of their house but not to cut the back of the house, is that something that could still flag
That's a violation.
Okay, thank you. I guess one more question. You know, I'm just trying to brainstorm here. If you opt into the program, if whatever we can sort out the specifics of it and have some kind of like sign, you know, signs can come out or they can be pulled out or they would be expensive to make or lose track of them. You know, I'm just trying to think if there's a way to put other people on notice to mitigate any complaints. But I guess sorting out the details, if there's opportunity to do more collaborating and brainstorming, then maybe we should dig in a little bit more. It seems like you do have some positive ideas and are willing to work on a possible education program or something else. So maybe that's a solution.
All right, Commissioner Coakley, and then back to Commissioner DeWitt.
I don't have a comment for staff. I have a comment after she's done, so I'll wait.
Okay. Commissioner Coakley, or Commissioner DeWitt.
Thank you. Hi, Mr. Coggins.
Hi.
So I understand the trepidation of the number of complaints we get between the first, and that's why after the first one, it's like, okay, back to the drawing board, try to reset it, try to see if we can get something else going. And the way I wanted to make this was so that it would be hopefully as minimally impactful to your department as possible to get the most benefit. And the only other way I could think of doing this besides how this is written would be to write essentially a novel of going through your code book. And I don't want to do that to you because I know that's going to be an even bigger nightmare in the end to do enforcement. So I can't ask you to do anything, but I'm hoping to get something that I could work with that would maybe some concern areas on the system that would be positive in this direction compared to what we currently have. Because right now the issue that, like, for example, for my house, I had a neighbor call me and leave a note and call the city. The first year I moved in, like day one, and it wasn't even above at that point. So when I cut it on day one, he had already called in and nothing happened because it wasn't in violation. But I think some of the people's attitudes for certain situations need to be looked at too, because I know a lot of the complaints come in, people think it's long, but it's not necessarily long. And the education part would definitely help with that, at least if people read the inserts, which again, this proposal would put an insert in that a lot of people may not read. So if you, I can't say it that way. if I could get the city manager to possibly help me find some weak points in the enforcement that we could use to help actually make this more feasible, because this is something that, has been asked for by multiple people, and I think doing something is better than nothing, but the something does need to cut that balance. I'm just tired of being told, don't do it. So I'm hoping through you to hopefully get some information.
So it's just so I'm clear, so are you looking for alternate locations to do more pollinator projects, or you're looking for people's yards?
I'd like to have
So we
individuals do it if possible, because I think it would be more localized, we'd be able to get better spread throughout the city. Because the problem is with city lots is they're city lots. A lot of them are either not in good condition because they were like a house that was raised and burned down and repossessed, so that not good soil for a few years, or they're on the edge of town where they're not really feasible either. Like the email I mentioned to you about the massive let off Trumbull, like that's great for that area, but it doesn't really help into the city very far.
I just want to say, I haven't said too much, but I mean, what is the possibility of looking at a partnership versus the city? I mean, I'm looking at the costs associated with as implemented, if approved, there was 803 notices sent out during that time frame that you're talking about this last year. The year before was 938. And so there's 11,000 invoices. There's an estimated cost of 17,000, which isn't in the scope of things real big. And I think we should do something, but to coordinate something that maybe not city-driven, to partnership. There's some agencies in the community that we could potentially partner with that could accomplish what you're talking about with specific, not like a no-mow at all, but to set up specific areas in somebody's own property that they could be more beneficial. Because some conversations I've had is that just not mowing your grass in those 2 weeks isn't going to have quite the impact as setting up a specific area and actually having a program and having it more all season long versus just those 2 weeks in May. I just wanted to put that out there as a thought.
Yeah, if you want to pass along who's contacted you, instead of the person who put forward the proposal, I would love that instead of being pseudo gate kept on that, because that's how I feel it is when something's introduced in this chamber and then the organization is going to reach out to someone else and not the person who introduced it, because that really puts a stonewall on how this process is done. So if you can pass those over or CC on it, that'd be great.
Yeah, it was a conversation with somebody, so. Okay, I know there were several other comments. Commissioner Coakley?
Real quick, since we're just going at it, I really want this. I want to support it, but I want to separate, since grass is not doing what we need it to do and just it being abused, I would like to make sure we're clear on what we want to do with this. Myself, my wife and I, we do have a nice clover-filled backyard right now. I'd love to tell you it was on purpose, but it's not. But pollination is going on all the time there. We just let it go a little bit longer, then we'll cut it down a little bit longer. So it's just a little thought into getting it right to make sure we're doing things. But this is a good thing we're doing right here. So I think we do need to refine it a bit and get it right.
Are you asking to refer it back to staff, or you're going to vote on it, or what are we doing?
You have to give a motion, Commissioner.
I'm going to support whatever you want to do on this. This is your resolution. I think it's good. If you want to refine it, I'm going to trust you on that. If you want to just move forward with it, we're fine. But I just want to make sure we get it right, because there's a lot of good we're doing with this right here. It's a good resolution. Just want to get it right.
I just didn't want to say anything in case he had something to say too.
Go ahead. There's other commissioners who want to talk to. All right, Commissioner Morris, and then Charlevoix, and then Commissioner Cubit.
I don't want to push this through because it's aware that there needs to be some fine tuning to this. I would like for it to be referred back to staff. I am not going to be the one to refer it back to staff because I don't know how to word it in a way to refer it back to staff for this. But if it did not get referred back to staff, I would turn it down because right now it's not ready to be anything anyways.
It would be referred back to the commissioner because it's not staff initiated.
Yeah, it's just like we did with the other one.
Okay. Well, then refer back to Commissioner then, I guess.
Commissioner DeWitt, are you opposed to just pulling it right now? And
I think we've had some positive discussions. As long as I get that information from you two up there, I would greatly appreciate that so that we can get this done. Again, if we want to get this ready for next spring, the action time is now because we move at the speed of government. So getting it done now would be helpful. So yes, I'm okay with Commissioner Morris' suggestion on the premise that I get that information, I'd say by the end of the week, if possible.
Will do. All right, is there any objection to doing that? Well, yeah, you can just withdraw it without...
Okay, yes, we will withdraw the motion.
Okay, so it's been formally withdrawn. All right, is there any other business for us tonight? More.
Number 5, Commissioner DeWitt's ordinance amendment to the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 2, Commission, Section 226, Rules of Commission, Rule 7 regarding public input.
Point of order. Did we ever go back to not suspending the regular rules, and do we have to do something to get out of that?
We've been in regular order of business for a while. When city staff comes up, we don't suspend the rules.
My apologies.
Only if it's
Thank
an
you.
outside person. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so is there a motion? Commissioner Tenney.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner DeWitt.
Second.
Discussion? Commissioner DeWitt.
Again, to address this speaker's concerns, what this does is it puts public input before the commissioner comments, so that instead of the current system where there is no opportunity for us to directly or indirectly respond unless it's about a specific item like I'm doing right now. It would allow us the opportunity to hopefully create some notes during citizens' public input and respond if we deem it individually necessary. So that's the only change here. Again, as with the one that got shot down last time, this was also in that packet. It was suggested by another member in here, and I concurred with the agreement. So that is just changing the order to give this commissioners the opportunity to respond in an official manner if they so desire.
Sure. All right. Commissioner Charlevoix.
I agree with this. I think it'd be good if we could talk back and address it in front of everybody during the meeting, not after the meeting. So I'll support this.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Morris.
I also like this because it gives us an opportunity to talk publicly about some of the public input that might come forward, but I just don't want it to be set as an expectation that no matter what, we will retort about what is said in public input. But I do like having the opportunity to be able to do so.
Yes, thank you. And just for clarification, too, is a motion to receive, so there'll be another reading of this at the next meeting for final approval. Commissioner Coakley?
I also would like to comment that I do like this. It gives an option to answer a question if we so choose to. Sometimes we want to answer the question we can, and it just give an opportunity to get a little feedback. It's not going to be a debate. It's just going to be able to answer the question when we can.
Commissioner.
Thank you. I just wanted to say real quick that the way it currently is set up, this, you can speak with your commissioner afterwards sort of thing. One of my colleagues before we were seated said during their own public comment that is tantamount to off the record, right? Anytime we're speaking to you all and we're not here being recorded, it is off the record. So I think it's great for us to be able to respond to you guys in a manner that is transparent for everybody to see, right? So that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner DeWitt, yes, I've advocated for this for some time, so I'm glad to see this, hopefully this voted on. I do agree with a lot of the commissioners, and that's why I kind of sent it forward to be looked at, is because many times I've heard from folks that come to the podium is that we just sit and stare at them after and can't really respond. And so this gives an opportunity. While we cannot directly respond during public input per se to the speakers, this will allow an opportunity for commissioners, if they want to opine on what was said during public comment, they can do that. So any other discussion? Commissioner Cubit.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like this is a good thing. I guess I would just ask the city manager if she's aware of anything that would potentially negatively impact this, but it seems like it's...
Yeah, no, it's a good change. It's fine.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, roll call vote.
So the motion is to receive and refer to next meeting for second reading and adoption. Commissioner DeWitt?
Yes.
Brumberg?
Yes.
Charlevoix?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Cubit?
Yes.
Coakley?
Yes.
Bernie Obershaw?
Yes. Yes.
Tenney?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, that motion has been approved. Any other items for us tonight? Okay, seeing none, we are adjourned.